Hi everybody and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of Taking Care of Business. We're here today to talk about Q1 report of 2021 with Carlos and myself. Hello. Oh,
how are you?
Same time that was.
I know.
We're twins.
We very often do that, don't we? Say the same things a lot of the time.
We do, that we do.
So we've seen, last week we sent out the report to all the press reviewing the first quarter of 2021.
Yep.
And today what we wanted to do is just talk you through some of our findings, Allsopp and Allsopp, and just give you a bit of a review of what might happen for the remainder of 2021. So,
Mystic Meg.
Oh my God.
I know what's going on.
We're gonna.
To be fair, in October last year, I went on the radio and I did say that the market's undersupplied. Everyone laughed at me and said, "You're talking crazy," and now everybody's saying the market.
You get great satisfaction now.
I tell everyone that. I said, "I'll send you the link. Read it now."
So obviously Q1, safe to say, it's been very good. Record breaking month on month as a business. But what does that look like for people out there who are buying and selling? Do you want to just talk through some highlight numbers with us?
I think first of all, if you just give a summary, if you're looking to buy a house at the moment, it's very difficult. I mean, people go, "Oh, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to buy my first home, there's loads of options." I am seeing friends and family buying houses at the moment, and the amount of times they're being gazumped is absolutely frightening. People are going to put offers on, and people are going and buying houses above the asking price. So the market's tough. It's tough.
What do you put that down to? Because obviously people listening to this might think, "Oh, it's difficult to buy a house." What do you mean?
It's difficult because there's no properties. We're estate agents. We look at, and our job as CEO and COO is to study the market and make decisions on our business, and that's all we do. And if you look at areas like Victory Heights, where I live, 8 villas for sale, 10 villas for sale. Jumeirah Golf Estates, let's say Redwood Park as a tenant, there is 0 properties online to rent, 0. They're renting at 160, 165, they're now 200,000. So
the reason for that is people have probably got cheaper rents 2 years ago, sticking where they are, don't want to move. And what about sellers? Because obviously if there's a lack of supply in the marketplace, a seller's perhaps sitting on the fence thinking, "Well, we're going to ride this train and maybe it keeps going up," and that's why people aren't selling. Are people just happy in the home? Because what I have found is a lot more people are spending more money on their homes and improving rather than moving.
Yeah, well, look, I think if you're a seller at the moment, 2 things are happening. Either people are moving because they're saying, "Hey, I want to upgrade," or 2, they're sitting back at that moment saying, "I was thinking about selling, but actually I'm going to rent it for a year because I've had 7 years of downwards market. I'm now finally seeing profit on my house," and they're not moving. So that's not good for an estate agency, to be honest with you. If someone says they're not moving, it takes more supply out of the market. So it's not good for us because we have less stock, but it's good for the property price, isn't it? Because it's there's less stock in the market. People have to pay for what they want
or travel further afield.
Yeah,
which is why you're seeing traction in. You've obviously got the main communities. We've seen what we've seen in Victory Heights, Jumeirah Golf Estates, the Springs. We've seen price rises 10, 12, 15% in some areas, and people having to go a bit further out now to get what they want.
Yeah. So let's look at some interesting stats to talk about. So first of all, buyer summary. So if you look at the people and how they're buying their properties, 62% of the people that are buying properties are with a mortgage. Does that surprise you?
62% buying through Allsopp and Allsopp.
Yeah, of course.
No, it doesn't, because I think at the minute the stimulus last year, 80% loan to value rather than 75. That, whilst that 5% doesn't seem a lot, it's been, in my opinion, the biggest driver about why prices have gone up. So 2/3 of our buyers are using mortgages.
But it was the same driver that put prices down.
Yeah.
If you remember when the prices actually went down 6-7 years ago, it was because the change the loan to value. So they've just reversed the same thing.
I often have a debate with people where people say, "Oh, the price has gone down 4 or 5 years ago because of supply." Absolute rubbish. The reason prices went down 4, 5, 6 years ago was twofold. One, loan to values went from 85, 80% down to 75, and the doubling in Dubai land apartment fees from 2% to 4%, which makes it more expensive to buy a house. That's the biggest reason.
If you wanted to double the house prices in Dubai, do you know what you'd do?
Well,
100% mortgages. I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying, I'm giving you the idea of the scenario that you would send the market through the roof.
This is the thing with the market where it's great. We've seen price rises in the last 6 months, and in some areas double.
Yeah,
which is just mad. I would prefer a slow and steady increase. If we're seeing anywhere between 7 and 10% a year, that is a nice, normal property market.
It's on the high end, I think.
Probably
2 or 3% is normal. You have 7 to 10 a year.
Probably, but you look at Dubai's pricing compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of growth, I think, to catch up with main cities around the world.
Burj Khalifa, you can buy 1 bed for £350,000. That is an iconic building in Dubai. You can't. I always say,
what would you get in London?
You wouldn't even get a studio.
Or
You
Hong Kong,
literally
or...
get my shoe in it in a studio. That's how central London works. So Coventry, you get a castle. Okay, so that gives you an idea. 43%, 34% were cash buyers. So we're starting to see that, and this is really a new thing for me in Dubai over the last few years, more cash coming into the market. There's definitely more cash out there.
So yeah, I think obviously with what's happening around the world at the moment, Europe in particular is really suffering with lockdowns. What we've found is a lot of people have come to Dubai because they feel like they can live their life quite normally. Live their love.
I want to live my love.
They can live their life quite normally.
Yeah.
And I think the way this has been handled here, I think the next couple of years they feel like, I mean, anywhere in the world, I mean, what's taught us the last 12 months is you can practically probably work anywhere now.
Yeah.
You don't actually need, if you work in the UK, you perhaps don't need even to be in the UK to live your life.
But we want them in the office.
But you want them in the office. But no, like anyone, a lot of European money come here. I just think, yeah, like I say, a huge part of that is people seeing this place a good place to
I think people coming on holiday and they escaped the lockdowns around the world.
Got a taste of it.
And they were, wow, actually,
yeah,
this is my cup of tea. And actually, my business is running all right wherever it is in the world.
And it's not cold.
Yeah, and it's too hot now, isn't it? Summers are wild here.
Yeah, not
Summers
great.
Are very wild.
So obviously, cash is coming in. Number of sales transactions for us versus last year up 82%.
I can't complain. I definitely can't complain. But that's actual units. It's not like we're talking about big transactions. Two things happen in the market for me. First of all, there's so many more transactions happening. It's frightening because there's more people who've got an appetite to get on the market. But the second thing that's happened with the transactions is the amount of juicy transactions. And I'm talking, you know, if we'd sold a 20 or 30 million dirham villa 2 years ago, we'd be like, oh my God, we're involved. Every other week now, there is either a floor or an asset that we are trading, whether it's commercial, retail, whatever it may be, at 20 or 30 million. And that is just unheard of.
Yeah, the frequency of people buying expensive properties is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And again, it all comes back to, I think people are seeing Dubai at the moment as a bit of a safe haven.
Yeah.
Someone to park their cash in with that 20, 30 visions while they're thinking, you know what, I want to be a part of this. But even, it's not just sales transactions, our lettings numbers are up 38% as well. So a number of people moving. Again, tremendous value. You know, people have seen, you know, there's obviously a lot of new projects that are coming in, but a lot of good value in regards to people being able to move or
But it's
having
not
to
like
move.
it's cheap though, let's make it clear. I mean, tenants are now complaining prices are going up. Yeah. So it's not like people are moving to get a better deal.
No one likes paying more though for the same thing.
Well, this is what's going to happen. People are going to say, hey, I'm increasing my price. And a tenant's going to go, no problem, I'm moving out because I want what I paid for before. And landlord's going to go, no problem, move out, I'll make 20% more of my money. So that's going to create the movement in the market, isn't it? Just the landlord wants more, tenants not happy.
The supply issue is not just a sales related thing, it's also lettings. Like you say, in Jumeirah Golf Estates, that property where you own, there's nothing available whatsoever. And we've seen some communities, the rent's up 20, 30% because again, there is nothing there. People sitting tight onto what they've got.
You know, the perfect example of that is we bought some properties from Jumeirah Golf Estates directly, didn't we? The developer deal was a fantastic deal. It was 10% down. And balance over 6 years, you have the ability to rent it straight away. An incredible vehicle for money, isn't it? Really?
100%.
And a lot of people said, you know, who's going to rent these units? There's not enough tenants. Before I even got my keys, mine were all rented. And yours are currently going through the process of offers. You obviously, I was quicker to getting the keys than you, but it's crazy. Literally, they've gone on straight away, viewings and offers straight away, and that shows the market.
Again, might be people moving further afield, coming a bit closer into town. You know, again, good value. So, I mean, looking at the actual property prices, and again, these are from the first 3 months this year. We've got the average price of a property up 31% as a whole.
Yeah.
Which the average price of property we're selling is 2.912 million.
And it was 2.227. Was it last year?
That's the average price of all the properties we sell divided between that number. So the average property price we've seen is up 31%, which is madness. And
but that correlates with the price, doesn't it? Really, it correlates with the fact that the market has probably gone up 25 or 30%. But you get those numbers there, so everyone tries to understand them. We obviously sell one beds in Marina for $1 million or 600,000, but then we're going to sell a Meadows Villa or Jumeirah Golf Estates for 6 or 7 million.
Yeah.
Pull the numbers together to create a number, but it gives an even medium. I think that's the word. Is it maths?
Yeah, it's median. Yeah, it's a median.
I don't know how I
median
remember
number.
that.
But I mean, to couple with that, so obviously not only is the property price up 30%, our number of viewings, interesting, is only up 7% versus last year. What do you put that down to? Because you normally see they'd be matching normally.
They should correlate, shouldn't they, really? The main thing for me, first of all, video tours. Video tours and walkthroughs. We're doing more than we've ever done in our lives.
And that's not just here, in the UK as well.
I've
seen emails where people are renting properties without even visiting it.
It's something you'd do, lazy, sit on your sofa. Well, I'll have one of them, please. But what you're finding is that people, they're looking at houses online, and then, like you said, they're making decisions off the back of it. But 80% of our listings now have that. And I would have laughed if you'd said to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, people are going to buy a house from a video tour. I mean, last week we had, I think, 1,000 hours of viewing time on our YouTube channel, which is not massive for a lot of them. But the amount of leads we generate off of that, and people,
week on week, that's growing, and obviously our number of videos is growing. So clearly, that's people are making decisions, be a bit more comfortable making decisions like that. What I'll also say is obviously, people are making decisions digitally. It's also an indicator that there are fewer houses for people to view. Yeah. So, a year ago, 18 months ago, people might have been viewing 15 houses on average.
Yeah.
Now they might have 5.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And 5 is probably a little bit.
For us.
Yeah. less time for us. But the reality is it creates that panic then. Because if people know that there actually is a lot available, that's where that FOMO, that fear of missing out, where they feel like they have to make a decision a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, I think that's natural though, but there not being a lot of properties. I mean, if you go to a viewing Allsopp and Allsopp, or any agent, to be honest with you, it's a decent agency, the minute a listing before it even hits the internet, this is what happens, people need to understand the process. We go and meet an owner and we'll say, hey, you want to sell your house, sign the contract. And by the time the contract's being signed, we've already gone onto our database and we start to call the 10 buyers that are looking for that villa, and we've already arranged you. Now, what's happening in this market before it's even hitting the property portals like Houser.com, #1 portal in Dubai, it wouldn't even reach there because it's already sold. That is, and people, unless you're in the market, you wouldn't understand it.
And the benefit of making sure you're in touch with a good agency, so you're not relying on just searching online what's there every day. Because again, I would say at least 30% of our deals, our sales that happen at the moment, and rentals, are never even published online because of the speed it's required.
Absolutely crazy.
Buyer registrations. So obviously property prices are up, view numbers are up. Buyer registrations, so the first 3 months this year are up over 100%, 102%. Mad.
Well, we put something on the precedent with 8 buyers to 1 property.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know someone at the moment that is saying, hey, I'm looking to buy my first house, I'm looking to get on the ladder. I've got family members that are currently trying to buy in Moodon, and he's been gazumped twice on houses, and there's people queuing up to get the house that he wants. So,
well, I had a client call yesterday, someone I've dealt with in the past, that basically they bought in 2017, lost a fair bit of money on the house in the last 3-4 years. The price is now at the level they bought at. Obviously, they paid a mortgage off the last 4 years, which is great. And now they're able or want to move, and obviously they've asked me where they want to be. Told them where they should go.
So JG,
But the problem is, I spoke to one of the agents. They'd say, "Look, what have you got?" And he said, "Carl, I've got nothing. Genuinely nothing. And if you do want something, you probably have to pay X."
You can get the properties, but you need to entice the seller to sell. And to say, "Look,"
and be prepared to spend a bit more than what you perhaps thought initially you're going to be spending.
And that's the pain as a buyer, isn't it? When you saw a villa at 5 million, now it's at 7 million. You're like, "Oh my God, 2 things, I don't want to pay that. Secondly, I can't really afford that anymore." So this is the problem if you don't get on the ladder, and this is why a lot of people are getting on it. I had someone come to my house 2 days ago, a guy that works for me, and he come to have a look at the C1s in Victory Heights, and he was like, he lives in an apartment. I said, "Why are you looking at this?" Because I just need to get on the ladder. I'm gonna be priced out in a year or 2. So everyone knows this. So my question I've got for you is, where do you see, Mystic Carl, the market going over the next 12 to 18 months, and why?
Everyone asks me, how long can this go on for? Honestly, no one will ever be able to give you an accurate picture, but my gut feeling, bearing in mind I've been doing this job 20 years and I've seen many peaks and troughs, I believe we've got a good 12, 18 months of growth.
Yeah.
I think it'll be slower growth. I think it'll be late single digits, early double digit growth over the next 18 months. or more. Maybe we could reach up to 20% in the next 18 months, in my view. As long as the loan to values stay in place at 80%. If they do that, there is no reason for these prices to change. And as long as there is no changes to upfront fee costs, because at the minute, it is more affordable than ever to buy a house. So I only see an upward trajectory. The only way I see that stopping is a different form of ruling or something coming in place that will slow it down. So there is nothing there at the moment to say this will stop. And people have said to me, well, in a couple of months it will slow down. Give me a reason. There's no reason unless that changes. So, I mean, what about you? What do you think?
You hit the nail on there. You show me somewhere, shape or form, how it can slow down. I mean, you have to look at a couple of things. No matter whether you're selling a cup of water, you're selling a pen, or you're selling a property, only thing that matters is supply and demand. Everyone's trying to get on the property ladder, and there's not enough houses. Potentially
interest rates, but I mean...
but interest rates around the world are going up. I mean, this is one thing people don't consider with Dubai. Dubai, it's the only city that I would really know in the world that's probably in a better position than it was pre-COVID. You go to London, you go to New York, there is trillions of dollars and pounds being printed. That at some point, it's going to have to be clawed back off people that live there, whether that is through income or wherever it may be. That's coming back. Dubai, it's a tax-free haven, but for that reason, obviously, there's a lot of pressure put on the business owners in the pandemic because they were gifted no money effectively. So where I see Dubai coming in is Dubai, there's a lot of buyers, there's no debt straddled to the city. People around the world are figuring out, oh my God, where I've lived for the last 10, 15 years, this could be an issue for my income, and they're seeing Dubai as a haven. So there's only going to be more buyers coming to the market, and I just think that Dubai has 12 to 18 months minimum of 10 years. When the last thing I will say on it, go to a major city that people like going to, Marbella, go to any
Marbella major city?
Ibiza, island, whatever it's called, go to Ibiza, go to a sunny place on the water, that's what I'm looking for, that has a nice nightlife area. Show me that, and show me a villa on the sea that you can get for less than £4 million. Doesn't exist. And this is why Dubai is so cheap. You can buy a canal cove at 7 million dirhams that used to be 4.5. You can get a garden home for 13 million dirhams, which is £2 million, £2.5 million. It is still crazily undervalued.
Do you think we'll see a surge in population once there's a bit more freedom with movement and travel?
Definitely.
Do you think the last 12 months around the world, people have thought there's more to life? And obviously at the minute people can't freely come to Dubai in and out, but they're able to.
Well, I do think also that people are going to be scared to move. I think there's going to be a lot of people that the COVID, they've been burnt mentally with it, and I think that I reckon 30% of the population. The reason I say this, I watched London. London's got all of the younger generation and just opened up, haven't they? It's all the pubs and bars are open.
It's great to see, actually.
It's amazing to see. Everyone's out and they're having their drink and they're doing their things. But I was looking, there's a lot of comments on social media saying, these guys are crazy, why are they out now? There is going to be a divide between people that want to get on their normal lives and people that have been burnt mentally by what they've read and seen and saw. So whether or not I think people are going to start flying it immediately, I don't think it's going to get to full capacity in a couple of years.
Interesting, very interesting. Property listings, interesting, because when I looked at this number here this morning, I thought, it doesn't actually marry up with what we're saying. So we're saying there's an issue with supply, but actually number of property listings is up 28%.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what I would put that down to is just from a business perspective, increasing headcount. So obviously more people have been able to generate listings.
Yeah.
I'd also say that we're obviously looking at new communities, that stuff we haven't looked at before. So kind of doesn't really give us a true reflection there. But I also think that as well, because sellers have seen the rise in prices, we've got that, wow, this is what I can get for my money, and people are putting their houses on the market.
Yeah.
Whether they're selling or not is another story. What do you put it down to?
Headcount's gone up for the company, so that's definitely the sort of figure, but do not forget that what's that applicant registration gone up as well?
102%.
So we're still 70% short from growth to growth. So either way, it marries up. There is an undersupply of applicant registration versus property registration. So I think the message to everyone today is that the market is healthy. We see 18 months of growth. Congratulations to the seller if you are a seller. Finally, or an owner having property growth.
Good news to talk about for once.
It's amazing. I love hearing people making money. It's nice to hear. And if you're getting on the ladder now, you're going to be making money as well. People are all doom and gloom about the property market. Fantastic, these sellers are making money. Fantastic from the property, and great if you're a property purchaser, because you're going to make money as well. So the market is in a very good place, and estate agents and owners and buyers are happy.
Lettings is a little bit different now. We're looking at the lettings numbers here. So average price, we've seen an increase in prices on average.
Yes.
Up 6%. So we've seen a bit of a lag from sales to lettings, and I think that will play out over the next couple of months. Number of tenants registering, not nearly 90%, so 90% increase of people that are registered last year versus this year. And again, we take March out of the equation last year with COVID and lockdown. Still a huge increase, nearly double the amount of people thinking about moving.
Yeah.
Rentals.
Prices won't increase yet because they have to kick the tenants out.
Yeah.
I'm your perfect example. I would have to have an awkward conversation with one of my tenants because they're renting at 170. They're now on for 200,000. So there's a 30,000 dirham gap there. But unless I either get him to agree to increase the price, which he won't, I'd have to give 12 months notice.
Yeah.
And then the knock-on effect will show that there's a price increase of 20%. So what you'll see is that the properties may lag over a 6 to 8 month period, but you can categorically guarantee that when the property becomes empty for whatever reason, that maybe the tenant buys or whatever, or they get kicked out, the new price is going to be higher.
How much room do you think there is in the rentals prices having to go up?
20-30%.
In the next 10, 20?
Minimum. I mean, it's all going to lag off from sales. In the next 12 months, it'll go up 20%. This is my theory, because you're only going to follow the lag for the push on for the property value and see that when the properties come empty, you know what's going to happen. And like I said, supply and demand. Show me house in JGE, Jamaica Gulf States, and show me house in Victory Heights. There is nothing at all. So people will have to pay to live in these areas.
Okay. So in terms of like your view of the first quarter, I mean, obviously mortgage transactions are up. We've got a quick number here saying 82% of our transactions we're up by versus 63% in Q2. Obviously, money very easy to get hold of.
Yeah, I think if you look at the mortgage transactions, that says Allsopp and Allsopp mortgage services. What I'm finding very interesting is people are now going to mortgage brokerages because there's lots of banks out there that will pitch you their best products, but it'll be the best interest directly for that bank, and you won't look at the T's and C's because normally they come at 25 pages deep. When they're hiring a mortgage broker now, they're actually finding that whether that is early settlement fees, whether it's locked interest rates, they will find out exactly what the best rate is. And people are now switched on to this, that a mortgage broker like Allsopp, we don't charge the client anything. Yeah. It's nothing at all.
And it's not in our interest to which lender you go for. It's down to you. They know what's best for your requirements. I spoke to someone yesterday and they were talking about this particular bank on for years, and I said, yeah, but this bank doesn't do this, this and this. And this guy went, wow, I didn't even think of something like that. And not only could save them money, but might allow them to put a lot less money down. So I guess anyone looking to buy a house at the moment, like viewing houses, a lot of people probably wouldn't buy the first house they see.
You do.
Yeah, maybe me.
I love this one.
But also, when you speak to mortgage buyers or a bank, don't just speak to one person.
Yeah.
Look at all of your options. So I guess Q1 incredible numbers. We see this happening, a continued trend throughout the rest of this year.
I hope so for Allsopp and also brilliant, and for the owners and buyers. I mean, look, last month we did, I think, 729 million dirhams in sales. That works out to $200 million or so. It is absolutely frightening, and there is serious appetite in the market to buy. I don't think that's going to change. So
I think the measure. I mean, whilst our revenue figures isn't a measure of the market, we are 42% revenue generated in the first 3 months of this year compared to last year. So we've done half of last year's total turnover in 3 months. That's a massive indicator of what's going on. Obviously, big money coming in from different parts of the world, but lots of volume happening as well in transactions. Obviously, we didn't mention at the start, which is quite important. It's the first day of Ramadan.
Ramadan Kareem to everybody.
Ramadan Kareem to everybody.
Very different Ramadan now, by the way, for anyone that's watching. When we come here, 2006, remember, literally it was curtains.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything.
You couldn't do anything. I remember you go into your car and you try and eat your sandwich, you'd sneak, try and hide it so you couldn't get seen, and you're trying to respect all the laws and the
which
cultures.
We still do, but I mean, there was something announced a couple of days ago where basically anyone wanted to eat, now they could go.
You can literally go into a restaurant now.
Yeah, and no curtains. And
you just eat as normal.
Do you think there's a realisation that Dubai, to increase its population, has got to be a little bit more open to everyone?
I think over the years, Dubai has. Like I said, I came here in 2006 and it was very much, behind curtains. Everything closed. You go to the malls, there were curtains everywhere. It was crazy. You fast forward every year, it's got a little bit lighter. And interestingly, it's actually Abu Dhabi last year that first put in the protocol that you don't have to have curtains when you're eating, which you think Abu Dhabi is a little more liberal. And Dubai's followed this year. So all it is, I think 95% of the population is from all around the world. People respect Ramadan. I respect Ramadan. But if you go to London, people are obviously fasting, but they've got to understand the world is also moving in the city that you're in. And I think Dubai realises it's a multicultural city, and they're trying to involve everyone.
There's enough businesses that perhaps suffered during COVID that perhaps there needs to be a level of understanding moving forward. I mean, what people always say to me, when I talk about all these prices and what's going on, people always ask me, is there enough people in Dubai to buy? Is there enough? The population from statistics went down last year, a little bit from people leaving, but obviously we've got Allsopp and Allsopp recruitment. And the number of jobs at the moment is quite, from my point of view, eye-opening. So there's plenty of opportunity for people move here, plenty of people hiring. We're hiring.
We're always hiring. But recruitment and hiring. It's Dubai is an evolving city. It's a city that is continually growing. You see the 2040 vision. There is a lot going on. But I think that's enough for the 2021 Q1 update. Anything final you want to add?
No, just very good reading. It's going to be a continued trend in my view for the rest of this year. And very excited to see what the rest of this year holds.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Bye.